Make sure to subscribe and click that notification bell if you want to get the videos as soon as they upload.
YouTube, what up? Welcome back to another Pounds 978 custom video. And yep, it's about that time. I want to give you my top 10 favorite Spider-Man action figures so far from Hasbro. There were so many to choose from, so there are some runner-ups, but these are the 10 that I think are the best in my opinion. I know you're gonna have your own opinion, and we can talk about that in the comment section, but these are the 10 that catch my eye the most, or the 10 that I think are the best. Simple as that. Coming in number 10, without a doubt, the Armored Spider-Man from the Retro Pack is one of my favorite figures. It's actually based off the Insomniac PS4 Spider-Man game design and not the comic version. However, this is probably my favorite design from the two. This one's more sleek and subtle, and the comic version is a lot bulkier. I do like the paint, very silver, very shiny, and very accurate to what the game design is, and so I like this. This could have been higher up on the list if it were bigger. I just feel like it's a little small in the chest area. Number 9 goes to the Scarlet Spider-Man, and either one because they both are pretty nice. The brighter one is from the older Rhino pack, the darker one is from the vintage wave, and I like them both, so either one, doesn't matter which one you choose. It could have been higher on the list if it were on a new buck. This buck is a little outdated, but still this figure talks to me and it was one of my favorites when I first started collecting. I picked up a couple of these things and I like them. Surprisingly, at number 8, Spider UK, Billy Braddock as Spider-Man. It was nice to see a bigger version of Spider-Man and looked pretty accurate to what the comic representation was, but to get it in figure form is pretty sweet. I'm not really a fan of this body in particular because of the shoulder blades, but it does look nice, and it is one of their cooler bodies without butterfly joints, so he had to make it on the list somewhere. Definitely like the Spider UK. Number 7, Kane, the clone of Spider-Man. Super dope figure. I like this one. I don't really like the head so much. I'm just going to throw that out there. But the figure itself is on one of my favorite bodies, the Sunfire body. You get the hand spikes for interchangeable hands. And the red and black looks really cool. The emblems are clean. This is an upgrade from the one Hasbro gave us years ago. So I had to put this on my list. And I love Kane. It also came with another head. But just this alone is one of my favorite action figures. Simple. Nothing too over the top. Number 6, Cyborg Spider-Man looks really cool. Very reminiscent of the classic Spider-Man, but with some upgraded parts. And if you know anything about Spider-Man in the 90s, then this is an iconic redo of an old action figure on the retro line. So it's a must-have for me. Looks accurate to the comic and way better than the old version they gave us many years ago. Also like the shade of red. It is a nice orangey red pink, different from a lot of shades of red we got with regular Spider-Man figures. Yep, that's right. Number 5 goes to Spdr, one of my favorite action figures. Looks super accurate to the comic. The only problem is that it doesn't really stand on its own. I mean, it can stand if you balance it correctly, but just the way it looks, the metallic red, the yellow, the black, it just looks cool. And I never would have thought Hasbro would give us this so early. All we need is a Penny Parker to go with it. I think this version of Spdr looks better than the one from Into the Spider-Verse. I don't know why they didn't go with a design and look more like this one. But moving on. Number 4, yeah, I know, hear me out. It's early to call this a favorite figure. I just got this yesterday and I've been handling it and I'm pretty impressed with it. There are some things that I wish were better, right? If I can say that. But for what it is a cool figure. Now I'm going to talk about what I really think about it tomorrow in the review. So if you want to know more about that, stay tuned. As far as it looks, the metallic looks amazing. The legs hold itself nicely. The gold on it is pretty cool. The buck they use is actually smaller than I expected, and again, I'll tell you tomorrow. Number 3, Superior Octopus, one of my favorite figures. Bought this many times, at least 20 times. Majority of them went to customs. I only have one more that's unopened, but this is an amazing figure. I'm surprised Hasbro would give us this so early. They only used this body one time for the Superior Octopus, and I'm curious as to why they haven't reused the body more. I know they updated it since, but I would like them to go back and use this body a couple more times for some Spider-Man figures. But the tentacles kind of suck, but they look good, and that's what matters when you're posing your figures. Number 2 goes to Spider-Punk. I don't know what it is that I like about Spider-Punk. I don't really know too much about him. I just like his design, and when I made a custom years ago, I asked Hasbro to give us one with this, that, and the third, and they gave us everything. And so there was no complaints, and still to this day, it's one of my favorite action figures. It looks cool. There's so many poses you can do with it. And I believe it's Hobby Brown, not Peter Parker, but don't quote me on that. But it's just a great action figure, and I like this one, and I bought this also a couple times. This was from the Lizard wave way back. And for my number one, there's something about Spider-Man Noir that gets my attention every time I see it. I don't know if it's the all black, the trench coat, the most serious nature in his attitude. I like Spider-Man Noir. The figure looks just like one of the comics that I have, a few comics. I mean, his look changes up from time to time, but this is the one that I really like the most, the all black, the revolver, and the top hat. And even though Hasbro didn't give us this top hat, someone else sent it to me, it looks amazing. With or without the hat, I still love the figure, but with the hat, it just gives it more style. By now, some of you like, where's this one? Where's that one? Where's this one? Yep, I saved some of those guys for my honorable mentions, and a lot of them are pretty cool, and they probably could have made my top 10 list. But with what I have now, I don't think these guys are going to beat them. Some of them are really cool, and again, some of them are probably your favorites. So let's run right through it. The new super articulated Spider-Man, super dope to have. They come in the retro pack, and I like these figures a lot. I know a lot of people consider them their favorite Spider-Man, and maybe the symbiote here is probably one of my favorites, so he could have gone up. But something about the Spider-Man, it's off to me. I know a lot of people were excited with the new articulation they gave us, the diaphragm joint, the legs dropping, and the neck, but something about it just didn't really sit with me right. They look great and everything, but I almost don't like them any more than I like these figures. And these ones are great too. The Old Symbiote Spider-Man, the Raph Spider-Man used to be one of my favorites and still is because of how exclusive he is. Pizza Spider-Man is another classic to me. So it's tough for me to say which body do I like more, the Pizza Spider-Man or the retro. Even though we got a new Ben Reilly update, I still like this Ben Reilly, mainly because it's a 2-for-1 figure. One of the first times, to my knowledge, that Hasbro has given us a kind of a 2 figure in 1 pack. You get Spider Carnage when you get Ben Reilly, and I thought that was so cool for the time. You get 2 for 1, and I wish Hasbro would do this more with figures. The PS4, PS5 Insomniac Games Miles Morales, both figures are pretty cool. They uniquely sculpted, articulate well, and look like the game design. Probably why Spider-Man isn't on the list, because he's just another repaint, where Miles is original. Although if you compare him to the new Iron Spider and Armored Spider, he's taller. Into the Spider-Verse Miles Morales, the more urban look. This figure is super dope. I didn't think I'd like this as much as I do. It has great posability. If you didn't know any better, you wouldn't even know this was a Hasbro figure because it's designed completely different from a lot of their figures. I only wish they gave us other legs and arms where you can pop it off at the waist and then complete a Spider-Man costume and not just the urban look. That's what I mean about 2 for 1. Cosmic Spider-Man easily could have been in my top 10, probably number 5 or somewhere around there. But the head that Hasbro gave us, to me, didn't look right, even though it was kind of accurate to some of the images in the comics. But me personally, I like the bigger eyes, so I made this custom head, and that's the reason why I couldn't add it to the top 10. Negative Zone Spider-Man, one of my favorite suits. I only wish they put it on a different body. They should have put it on the Sunfire body, and I would have put it on my top 10 list. But the black and white on the suit still pops, and it gets my attention every time I look at it. Again, I only wish they put it on the Sunfire body and it would look more beefier, similar to this custom I've made of Negative Zone from the Spider-Man game. One is the classic comic version, the other one is from the Insomniac design version. Poison Spider-Man, or Spider-Man as a Poison. A lot of people don't really know this is Spider-Man, and I don't think I would have either if I didn't read the Venomverse, but once you read the Venomverse, you kind of understand what's happening. It's pretty much symbiote Spider-Man touching a poison, which is another creature that kind of wraps over a symbiote. They're like symbiote killers. But I like the design. I only wish they gave us some more poison characters. However, for what it is, I like it, and it could have been in my top 10, but because it's so weird, I didn't know where to put it. The all new, all different Spider-Man 2099. This is the first time they gave us this body. We keep calling it the Sunfire body, but it's actually the 2099 body. It's the first time we've ever seen it, so it had to be in my honorable mentions. I wish they would redo the original 2099 on a body like this one. But there are dozens of more Spider characters that didn't make the list. Some figures I have, some figures I don't. I do have the Renew Your Vows pack, but I haven't opened it, so I wasn't able to compare it to any one of these. Same thing with the Future Foundation and all the other new ones that are coming out. But as far as what I have, these are my favorites. And I could do my worst favorites list. My son actually wanted to do his top 10 favorites, and it's funny because his top 10 are nothing in comparison to my top 10. He has a whole different list. So let me know if you want to see my son's top 10 list, and we'll get that done for you. But for what it is, this is pretty much my top 10. Give or take 1 or 2. You see Spdr is not in here and Cosmic is in here. It's because I do like Cosmic. And that's it. If you like this video and you want to see more Spider-Man videos, feel free to give this guy a thumbs up. Comment in the section down below what you want to see next. And feel free to subscribe. Peace.
But if you choose to subscribe, you the man. Yes, you. Everyone below in the comments, yes, you too. Thank you very much for showing me love. Who knew? It's ironic how we think out the box for you too, right?
Sing, 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 sing. Everybody.